John and Kristen Howie are suing the mother of John's child, LiLa Revels, for an unpaid cable bill and for the value of their belongings.
Order. All rise.
That's case number 559 on the calendar in the matter of Howie versus Revels. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Sir, have a seat.
Mr. Howie, how long have you and your wife been married?
4 years, going on 5 years.
And you have one child?
Yes, ma'am.
How old?
Our child is 4 months old.
Defendant is your former girlfriend. You have a child with her who is now 12 years old. Is
Yes,
that right?
Yes, ma'am.
You and your wife get along?
Yes, very much.
You may have to tell her to butt out of your business. That's going to be a hard thing for you to do.
Yes, ma'am.
But I read your complaint, and that's eventually what you're going to have to tell her to do. Butt out. Because this is your complaint, which I have a sense that would not have been brought were it not for your wife. You were moving from one location to another.
Yes, ma'am.
The defendant moved into your old place. Is that right?
That's correct.
And there was some furniture there. According to your wife, because she wrote the complaint, you loaned her the furniture, said you could use it. And then you left and you moved to your new location, where you still reside.
Yes, ma'am.
And you also left the cable on in your name.
That's correct, in Kristen's name, my wife.
And she said she would take care of switching it over. You eventually did switch it over, and there was a cable bill for a couple of months. How many months?
It's 2 months.
Which is how much?
$367.57 from the collections.
Right. From collection.
From the collections now, because now it's
Okay.
in collections.
Some of that was her bill.
Don't speak! And you want the furniture back. Now, there's some convoluted story that you went there and didn't take the furniture back, left it there, and now she hasn't returned it to you and you've asked for it.
Yes.
But this whole thing came about because probably your wife had a baby. There was a lot of money going out. You haven't paid child support in a while. They're taking your tax return.
Yes, ma'am.
So your wife said, now you're going to sue her for the furniture. That be a fair statement, Mr.
It's,
Howie?
you know, it's pretty close.
It's pretty close. You don't have to be a genius to figure that out, sir. That's why you have to tell your wife to back off. This 12-year-old child has nothing to do with her.
Exactly.
Nothing to do with her. And anything that's done, since I assume that for 12 years or 11 years, before you got involved with her, before you made another baby with her, everything was okay with Miss Revels and your child.
Absolutely.
You enjoyed a reasonable relationship. You even asked her to move in. There was no animus for a very long time.
No, I'm not saying that. This has nothing to do with my 12-year-old daughter, though. This has to do
It
with...
has everything to do with your 12-year-old daughter, sir. You go to court when you haven't paid child support because you have a new baby.
Well, I will pay mine.
And you have new responsibility. Before you had a new baby, a new responsibility, and a new wife, you paid your child support when you were supposed to. You did what you were supposed to. You lived close to your child.
Yep.
You know, I could write this book, even though it's not in here, Mr. Howie.
Oh, listen,
I've been in family court for a very long time, sir. That's what happened. You had a wonderful relationship with your child. You had a decent relationship with the defendant. You paid your child support when you were supposed to. You decided to have a new life. You married this lady. You and your wife decided to have a new child. And then all of a sudden, new wife says, money's going out. That's not fair.
Your Honor, I mean, with all due respect, she owes the money.
The cable bill's
That
in
has
my
nothing
name.
to do with
Listen
it.
to me. I'm not talking about the cable bill. I'm talking about the furniture. The cable bill she knows she owes, right?
Yes, you're right.
So she doesn't owe me for the furniture because I owe her child
Mr.
support?
Howie.
I mean, she can't
Mr.
have
Howie,
both, right?
I don't think she agreed to buy the furniture.
You're right, she didn't, but where's it at? She
Just
never
a
gave
second.
it to us.
I don't think she agreed to buy the furniture. If you say, I sold her the furniture for $500 and she didn't pay it, that's a different story. That's not what you say here. And what I'm trying to tell you, Mr. Howie, is you're going to have to tell your wife to back off, that it's none of her business.
Well, the furniture was my doing. That's me. It's my furniture.
You can't have it back.
Well, shouldn't I
You
be
can't have
compensated?
it
I don't
back.
want it back. I just want to be compensated
You're
for
not going to get compensated for it. You're not going to get money from her for it, especially if you tell me I don't want it back. Say, I don't
It's
want
gone.
it back.
We tried to get it back. It's
Just a
gone.
Your Honor,
second.
they have not.
Just a second. Especially if you tell me I don't want it back. I want to be compensated for it. When was the last
Well,
time?
I'll take it back if
Hey,
you give it back to me. But
We've tried to get it back 2
This
times.
has nothing to do with you. The cable bill was in your name. You're going to get paid. Other than that, it has nothing to do with you. This 12-year-old has nothing to do with you.
I'm not following the relevance of my daughter in this.
That's because you're a moron.
Okay. Okay.
That's because you're a moron. If you're standing on one side of a council table and the mother of your child is standing on the other side of a council table, that's not good for your child. Exactly. You don't get that. And if you don't get that, you're a moron.
Okay.
Now you get it.
Sure.
And if you didn't pay child support, because according to your wife, let me read you what she wrote. Due to our financial stresses, John got behind in his child support payments, and the government is now keeping our tax refund that we would have received in April of '09. That's what they're supposed to do.
Right.
They're supposed to keep your refund if you get behind. Why did you get behind, Mr. Howie?
Because she had been taken off of work because of her pregnancy.
That's not her problem.
I agree.
Just a
It's not
second.
her problem.
That's not her problem. That's not your 12-year-old daughter's problem.
You're right.
That you made a new baby. If you can't afford to have 2 children, only have 1. And if you can't afford to have 1, you don't have 14. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
It's very nice to want to have another baby. You don't have another baby unless you can afford it. And one of the things that happens when you have a baby, the mother sometimes has to take time off from work. She doesn't feel well. Sometimes she takes maternity leave. You don't have 2 incomes anymore. And all of a sudden, you have to make choices. And the choice that you made was not to send your 12-year-old daughter child support. That's unacceptable, sir. And because you got PO'd, because they advised you that your tax return was being paid, you're not getting your furniture back. Your wife is getting her cable bill paid, because that you owe her.
So she gets to keep all my stuff and get her child support? I mean, can't we have an equilibrium here?
Yeah, you just had an equilibrium. I made you an equilibrium. If you don't understand it, that's your problem. Put your hand down.
She gets the world, and I get
Put your hand down.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. John and Kristen Howie claim the mother of John's child, LiLa Revels, owes for a cable bill and for the value of missing belongings.
Mr. Howie, how much do you pay in child support?
$266.
$266 a week?
A month.
A month. Let's figure that out.
Which we never get.
Get him out of here, please. He's useless. Okay, Mr. Howie, let me tell you what your super generous child support to your daughter generates. $8 a day. I don't feed my 2 dogs on $8 a day. You get it?
Yeah, I get it.
You get it? You don't pay child support for this child. You pay a token of what it costs to raise a 12-year-old. You can't buy a pair of sneakers and a pair of jeans and an outfit to go to school. You can't feed a child for $8 a day. So your $8 a day is a token. What it says is, I know I'm your father, and I know I can't support you adequately, but I have to do something, so here's my $8 a day. Do you get it, sir?
I understand what you're saying.
And you don't even pay that. You have some gall standing there. You really do. You have some gall standing there, and I'm telling you there's going to have to come a time when you're going to have to find yours and tell her to stay out of your business. Do you understand, Mr. Howey?
Yes, ma'am.
Go looking for them. We understand each other? You get your $367 for a cable bill. Period. End of discussion. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She painted a pretty ugly picture, you know, the judge did, but I mean, it's her ruling, so we got to go with it.
Maybe he'll start paying some child support.
I understand I owe her a lot in child support, and I do plan on paying that back.
We tried to get the furniture back a lot of times, but it was never there for us to get it.
It's all there. It's still, we're still sitting on the couch to this day.
They lied and said we didn't even try to get it.
I didn't even know that was a problem until not too long ago.
It's all said and done, so let's just, you know, have a short memory of this incident and forget about it.
I would hope, you know, we all could get along, and I hope this doesn't, you know, affect anything.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Byers versus Byers, step forward.
James Byers is suing his son, Gabriel Byers, for the return of money he gave him for safekeeping.
Mr. Byers, this is your son. According to your complaint, several years ago, you left some money in an account for him that he was just sort of keep in case of emergencies. It's your claim that that was $5,000. You want your money back. Your son's defense to that is you told him that he could replenish that account whenever he had extra money, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I have a few questions for you because I found some things interesting in your complaint and some things interesting in your answer. First, Mr. Byers, show me where you got the money from to put in an account in your son's name.
From working.
No, show me the account. Where you got the money from, transfer, whatever.
There you have the cashier's check and a copy of the canceled cashier's check.
And that was in November of 2005.
Right.
And did you have any formal agreement with your son in writing with regard to this money?
No, I didn't.
Now, I've read in your son's answer that you and his mother were divorced.
Yes, we are.
And there were 2 children.
There are 3.
3 children. And there was a period of time when you were in substantial noncompliance with a child support order. Is that correct?
That's true.
And that arrears had accrued for at least 2 of your children. A daughter, is that correct?
That is not correct.
A son.
Just a son.
I'm quoting your son's answer. He was trying to get a job at the time, and I told my mother that he had changed, and now that I was grown, to let it go. She signed off on approximately $60,000 that he owed her. My mother called me very upset over his second attempt to get his back child support cleared again, and I had had it. So is that for the same child, sir?
I really
not an
don't know.
answer.
I really don't know what he's saying there.
Well,
I have no idea.
I'm asking you questions, sir. In what year did you have your former wife sign off and say she no longer wanted to collect $60,000 from you in back child support? In what year was that?
I have no idea.
What year, sir?
I'm sorry, I don't remember exactly.
Well, figure it out as closely as you can. Otherwise, I'll call your mother.
It was 2004, maybe.
So it was about the same time that your father gave you a check for $5,000. Is that correct?
That check came some years later.
No. That check came in 2005.
Okay, then the child support thing happened maybe a couple years before that then.
Who was the child support for?
The child support that was signed off on was for myself and my brother.
How old is your brother?
He is 40.
And when were they coming after your father for this back child support, or was your mother coming after him for the
I guess
back
my mother
child?
was coming after him about it.
And she signed off on it?
After I talked to her about it, yes.
Right. And then you got a check for $5,000 from your father?
Yes, I did.
Why do you think that your former wife signed off on $60,000 worth of back child support?
Your Honor, I have no knowledge of her signing off on anything.
Was she pursuing child support from you, sir? Did she have a case, or was she proceeding with a case to try to recoup the child support that you owed her?
I simply don't know.
Well,
I have
your
no
son
idea.
knows, and she would know. She's a simple phone call.
She didn't sign off, as far as I know, on any $60,000 worth of child support.
Child support in any amount.
Not that I know of. She
Well,
told me that
explain-
she had. She told me she had signed off, let's say, in '98 or something like that.
Was
and
it
then
98?
I began to get notices of child support. I go to her and I ask her, I said, what is this? She told me you had signed off. She said, well, give me the notices and I'll take care of it, and then didn't. So I don't know of anything about any sign-off, period.
All right. Now you're going to tell me the story so that I can believe it about why you gave your son a certified check for $5,000.
I simply gave it to him for safekeeping.
I want you to explain to me why a certified check, sir.
Well, so I could have a paper trail.
You have a paper trail if you have a regular check. You have a canceled check. You have the same check that you do if you have an official check, sir.
Well, I felt a certified check was the thing to do.
When was the last time you gave your son a substantial amount of money?
Well, I've given him money, and he's run into rough spots before, and I've given him money before.
Only fair. You didn't support him as you were supposed to when he was growing up, so you made up for it now. Only reasonable.
I'm trying to understand what money before had
Just
he
a
given
second, well,
me.
it doesn't make any difference. Does anything that I say sound as if it's hurting you, sir? Does anything that I'm saying
No.
in this case sound as if I'm hurting you?
No, ma'am.
So what I'm saying to you, Mr. Byer, is the money that you didn't pay for his support when he was growing up, if you threw him an extra couple of dollars or an extra couple of $1,000s when he was in need as an adult, so what? It was money that you owed anyway.
I owe his mother money, not him.
You don't owe his mother money anymore.
I owe his mother money.
When was
and
the
not
last
him.
time you gave his mother money?
There is an order in place.
That's not my question. When was the last time you gave his mother money?
I can't remember.
Well, was it in this decade? Was it in this millennium?
The only thing I can tell you is that I'm paying child support, and I am current, and I have been current for 10 years.
He can't be current. He's 37.
I'm current in the arrears that was set up.
When your son has the money to give you back that you left in his care, he'll pay you back. Could you give him back any money now?
No, ma'am.
I left the money with him simply for him to, as a keepsake. For me.
As a keepsake.
And actually,
as a
he
keepsake.
would run
Mr.
into...
Byer, I never heard such a ridiculous story in my life. And if you and your son have an agreement, and your son says that you have an agreement, I don't know why he said it, I'm not exactly sure, because I think if my common sense dictates to me, there was sort of a quid pro quo, that your son got his mother to sign off on this child support, and in exchange, he got the $5,000. That sounds logical to me. What does not sound logical to me is an adult parent saying to a child, I'm giving you $5,000, as you just said to me, as a keepsake for me, and I'll come to you when I need it or when I want it. That suggests that you can't take care of your own money, or that the state was coming after you for money, and the reason you put it in a cashier's check was that there was no paper trail. No paper trail, not a paper trail, no paper trail. So you had accumulated some cash, you wrote out a cashier's check, and you gave it to him to put away. Either way, I'm not helping you, Mr. Byer. Goodbye. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
The money with Gabriel. I left it just to leave it with him.
He gave me a check, said just hold on to it. It's sat in the bank for 2 years, untouched.
I expected him, because he had some rough spots in his life, to be able to use it in case he needed it.
He left the money in my care. I used it.
But I intended to come back with the money and use the money myself if I needed it, and I do now.
There was no arrangement on when it was to be paid back.
He used me possibly upsetting his mother as an excuse for basically stealing my money.
He said some things to my mother to upset her, and I just don't have the patience for it at this age and at this stage of my life.
He told me on the phone that he wanted nothing to do with me, and that is the reason I even asked for the money at the time.
I told him I didn't want to have anything else to do with him.
He wanted nothing to do with me. I was dead to him.
I'm pretty sure he knows me well enough to know when I say I'm done. I'm done. I'm too old for this.
It really hurts me. It's really hurting. It's really hurting.
I asked him what had happened, and he wouldn't even talk to me. So, fine. If you don't want to talk to me, then don't ever talk to me.
I can only wish that it had never happened.